What's up, citizens, and welcome back to the City Daily channel. And it's just me today. No, Stephen, it's just me, Kieran. But we're going to be talking Champions League and what our chances are for actually winning this goddamn competition. And obviously, our history with the Champions League is absolutely torrid. We've never made it past the semis. We've never made it past the quarters. It's we don't do well in Europe historically, even as much as we go on and win the domestic treble, and as much as we do great domestically. For some reason in Europe, we're just never the same team. And obviously the other sort of black flag hangovers when it comes to Europe is UEFA and the FFP fiasco that just leads to a really bad relationship with Europe, which is obviously very well seen at the Etihad whenever Champions League games happen. You won't be hearing any any Champions themes, just the resounding boo, which is fair enough. I think in the grand scheme of things is absolutely fair enough, and it just adds to the pain of the competition, I guess, doesn't it? And leads us to wanting to win it more. It's a sort of it's a balance. It's a balanced thing. There's equal amounts of the fan group that don't want to win it, aren't fussed if we win it or not. They just want to be winners domestically, and that's fine. I'd love to win domestically every season. If we didn't and then do anything in Europe, I think that would be fine in my head. But I'm probably part of the group that wants to win it and just shut everyone up. Obviously, if we did win it, it would probably just shift the naysayers from you've never won in Europe to you've only won in Europe once, and you've only won in Europe because you bought everyone and because you spent all your money. Now, we'll get that thrown at us every season, no matter what. It just will happen, even though other clubs shed loads of money as well. We're the ones that do it, and we're the ones that are ruining football. So let's talk our journey to the actual final. And obviously, our first game is against Borussia Dortmund tomorrow, and then we've obviously got to play them again next week. It's going to be a big game. It's going to be a really, really tough squad to break down. Obviously, they are down Jadon Sancho, who is a massive source of creativity for their squad, but still a strong squad anyway. And Haaland only needs a whiff of a chance, and he will exploit it, and he will take it. Now, I think Diaz and Laporte or Diaz and Stones are strong enough to deal with that, and I think they will be very good at defending against Haaland and against their attack. However, are they porous enough in their back half that we'll be able to outscore them? I think this game will very much be an outscore your opponent game. And I don't think it'll come easy. I think it will be 1 or 2 goals in this max. I don't see this being like a Mönchengladbach situation where it's 2-0 to City both legs. I think this will be an outscore your opponent, and I think there will easily be 5 or 6 goals in this tie overall on aggregate. I see a 3-2 to City. That's my current guess. Before we move on to then who we play in the semis, let's have a quick look at the other side of the draw, because I think we have been put on the really difficult side of this. PSG, Bayern and Dortmund, and obviously ourselves, all have a reasonable stake to be a finalist, to be at that stage. Whereas if you look at the other side, and I'm looking at Porto against Chelsea, and I'm looking at Real Madrid against Liverpool. Now, you go 2 years back, and Real Madrid against Liverpool is the Champions League final. But now, Real Madrid are a shadow of their former selves without Cristiano Ronaldo. Zinedine Zidane is a waste of space as a manager. I absolutely hate him as a manager. I think he's such a yes man, and he's been given some of the best players in the world still, and can't get things out of them. I think Cristiano Ronaldo, Sergio Ramos and Marcelo really did carry Zinedine Zidane to Champions League finals and to Champions League glory that he didn't deserve to be managing them into. Eden Hazard has been there and he's been able to get nothing. I think he's played 5 games in the last 9 months or something ridiculous. I mean, Eden Hazard, who was on fire at Chelsea, was stunning as a winger, and honestly, on his day, unplayable. Can't get a game at Real Madrid. seems to be having a torrid time, and I think that is largely down to Zinedine Zidane being rubbish. He's not a good manager. And then you look at Klopp and Klopp's Liverpool right now. They're obviously having a really tough time of things without Virgil van Dijk. I think Diogo Jota coming back into the squad has been a big boost for them, and will continue to be a big boost for them, because Diogo Jota is a large presence on the pitch, and he's really creative and really able to score goals and create goals as well. And I think that's very important for Liverpool. But they are still very porous in defence. They still look iffy in the middle of the park without Henderson there. And I think even up front, even after Diogo Jota coming back, Salah hasn't been on top form this season. He's still been carrying the team very much, but he's still been a bit here and there. Mane's just been gone this season. No idea where his ability and his pace and everything, I don't know where it's gone, but Mane has not been on it at all. And Firmino, well, I just forget he plays for them, honestly. Sometimes he doesn't do anything. I don't see it. And then obviously the other game, you've got Porto against Chelsea. Both squads quite strong. Obviously Porto knocked out Juventus, and we had them in the groups and we beat them, but we get all the easy draws. But Tuchel's Chelsea right now is... Well, I don't know what to say about Tuchel's Chelsea, because I really like it and I think it's really strong. But at the same time, I watched them against West Brom, and as soon as they went down to 10 men, they just fell apart. They just stopped playing football. They tried to knock it long, and they just played like Sam Allardyce football against... And I just didn't see it. I just didn't see any creativity from that squad whatsoever. Timo Werner's obviously a big one right now that we can point and laugh at and just say, what the hell's happened to you? You were setting the world alight last season being a striker, but you are missing everything that comes your way right now. I mean, did you see his miss in the internationals? He literally had an open goal and skewed it so far left. The Porto-Chelsea game really is anyone's. I don't think anyone could look at that game and say for definite they know who's going to win. Tuchel's Chelsea aren't quite firing. Porto have a strong defence, but again, where are they up front? It really is anyone's game, and I think if you were to look into it, I don't think anyone can say for definite, well, Porto have got it for this reason, or Chelsea have got it for this reason. I just don't think you can say that. But moving back to our side of the draw, and should we beat Dortmund tomorrow and on Wednesday, then we've got to play PSG or Bayern. And that itself is a Champions League final. People have been touting City PSG as a Champions League final for the past 3 or 4 years. Obviously, it's never happened. We've never made it there, unfortunately. But that is the final. This semi-final would be the final. Because, let's be honest, whoever comes through from the other side of the draw... He's weaker. He's weaker than this side. PSG, obviously with Mbappe and Neymar, they are stunning going forward, and I think even defensively they can put in an appearance. But I just think the Lewandowski factor for Bayern will make it a Bayern game. And I think they will probably win in the 2 legs. Again, I think it will be high scoring. I think it will be very difficult for these teams to keep each other out of the net. So I think it will be very much a battle of the offense. And I think Bayern Munich come away with that. But again, I couldn't really say for definite. But should we beat Dortmund, we've then got to move on and play one of these teams. And if we play Bayern Munich, I think... God, that will be a game. That will be a serious game, and Pep seriously needs to not overthink it and just stick to the game plan and stick to what we know best. I think we can break them down defensively. I think we're probably strong enough defensively. Again, I don't think we're keeping them out of the net. I don't think there's going to be any clean sheets in this one. I think it was going to be a really tough, just war of attrition against each other's defences to see who can score a goal, and it will be the final. It will be the semi-final. Would be like a final game. Should we play PSG? I think this will be slightly less high scoring. I think City would win it purely for the more defensive factor. We are stronger obviously in possession. PSG with Well, I haven't watched too much of them with Poch right now, but let's take Poch's Tottenham as an example. They liked possession. They liked to play around it. Obviously, they still had quite a strong counter-attack with Kane and Son. But I think there's definitely something there. I think we could definitely beat PSG on our day. But again, it relies on Pep not messing with the game plan and just sticking to what we know best and letting them play around us and not playing around them. Because I think that's currently our biggest issue when it comes to Europe. We are so often playing around the other team and giving them so much respect when we shouldn't be. We just shouldn't be. I mean, look at Lyon last season. Should we make it to the final? Should we beat Dortmund and then beat Bayern or PSG, which would be incredible just to get that far? If we should make it to the final, I'd hedge my bets on Chelsea or Liverpool meeting us there, but Porto's also likely. I don't see Madrid doing it at all, even after my anger at Zinedine Zidane earlier. I just hate him as a manager. Sorry, guys. I hate him. I don't think he's very good at all. I think he's just given far too much respect for what he's actually accomplished, which is sod all. His team did all of the work, not him. Yeah, if we were to make it to the final, sorry, back on point now. I think if we come up against a Chelsea or a Liverpool, I think we do ultimately win. I think Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea, even though we've got to play them in the FA Cup, and obviously that will give us a very strong idea of how good they are actually against us. I think we can break them down. I think there's definitely something there in terms of playing around Chelsea. I don't think they do well without the ball. I think Kai Havertz gets angry. Timo Werner in front of goal is obviously atrocious right now. And I just don't see that. I don't see that defence doing a lot. I don't see Thiago Silva and Antonio Rudiger having a very good game against Manchester City, being drawn and having to be moved all the time. Neither of those is particularly fast. Neither of them has great stamina either. I think being dragged around the pitch a lot would really ruin them. And I think even if it would take up to the closing stages of the game, I think we'd beat Chelsea. Liverpool, obviously a different kettle of fish. Liverpool in the Premier League and Liverpool in Europe are two completely different animals. Liverpool in Europe, for some reason, just switch it on. They just know what they're doing. Even without their key players, they are very, very strong. And Liverpool in the Premier League without their key players appear to fall apart and appear not to be able to do anything against the most basic of teams. But again, this relies on Pep not falling to the pressure. And while getting to the final, if we get to the final, it should be nailed on. It requires Pep not to play some weird 2-7-1 formation with Walker in goal and Ederson up front and some mental combination of Kevin De Bruyne and Fernandinho at centre-back. And, honestly, I just don't know what Pep's going to do half the time, and I really hope he doesn't get ahead of himself when it comes into these games. But we'll see. And anyway, that's our potential route to the final. There's only 15 games left in our season, and if we win them all, we win everything. We win everything on offer to Manchester City this season. All three domestic competitions and the Champions League. How historic would that be? Imagine the salt and the tears from the rest of the league as we finally ruin football forever. That would be gold. That would be gold. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. Let me know down below what you think our chances are for actually winning the Champions League. I'm going to guess they're not massively high, but we've definitely got a shot this season. I think this is probably one of our best. I'll be catching you later in the week. Have a great day, citizens. And obviously, up the Blues.